I have a new journal that I am going to be doing some junk journaling in, and I want to share it with you. It's actually not specifically a journal, it is a traveler's notebook as well as a Hobonichi Cousin, and I just am giddy over where I am going with these and how I'm going to integrate them into the ways I document my life. Now, before I show you what I'm doing, I will say that I am very early in this process of setting up a traveler's notebook. I have been evolving in my journal ecosystem for several months now, and this is where I'm currently at in my journey. At about the time that I started junk journaling in late August, and here are my junk journals here, you see my little collection, I also started doing physical journaling, writing my day-to-day life in an actual book and then supplementing that with digitizing it to help search across my life. As my friend Mary called it, I use it to Google my life. And I had the realization a few weeks ago that it was time for me to get more modular in my approach. And so I started exploring traveler's notebooks. Then, of course, Miss Leah Green of Thrifted, for the second time, pushed me over the edge. Let me tell you how. I was introduced to junk journaling through Leah. This is how I got started because I was watching her videos back in the fall and loved what she was doing, so I started junk journaling. Well, since I have been exploring traveler's notebooks around this time, Leah gets one. And so she's been talking about her process. So I was like, okay, I'm all in now. And so what I'm going to be doing is using a traveler's notebook, but finding ways to junk journal. So this is what I invite you to do. Junk journal with me as I start getting my setup together for my traveler's notebook. And we'll talk a little bit about the Hobonichi, but I'll save that for another video. And here it is. Like I said, I'm very much in the early stages, so there's a lot here that will change over time, but this is the start of my traveler's notebook ecosystem. There's a lot more coming, but let me just tell you briefly what's going on with this. Oh, and I'm excited because this is the first video that I'm shooting with my new tabletop overhead mount camera. Oh, I'm going to be able to bring to y'all so many more over the top overhead videos now that I have this, but I digress. So I'll start by describing it a little bit before we do some junk journaling. I did go with a clear vinyl cover like Leah has. This is from Cloth and Paper, and it's not exactly the cover for a traveler's notebook. This is a planner cover, but it's gonna work for me for right now because I wasn't ready to go to the leather covers that a lot of people use, a lot of people have for their traveler's notebooks. I did like the idea of being able to see through it. So I'm using this and I have several inserts. You can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inserts all bound together with bands. And then back here is the Hobonichi Cousin. So as I'm still kind of getting set up, I put this Post-it note over the front to help me keep track of my different inserts. And right now I have 6 for this. And I call this particular traveler's notebook my Life OS because this is the one I will be in all day, every day, documenting things. I have an insert for a monthly planner, an insert for my to-do list, an insert that's a timeline at a glance. My captain's log is where I write down the details of what happens from day to day. The news chronicle is where I'll be documenting news headlines. I got this idea from Julie's Plans. She's a creator here on the platform as well. And then Brain Dump is going to be where I just write notes. And I put this washi tape here because before getting this vinyl cover, I was finding that I was constantly hitting and touching this Post-it note and it was coming up off the surface. So I put that Post-it note here to help me remember what I have as my inserts. But what I'm going to do is, oh, and I have my 2 little friends up here, my Cookie Monster and my Stitch, my blue people. So what I'm going to do though is show you, here are my inserts, and I have them bound together just using bands that I already had. Let's see if I can show you one. Bands that I had already had because of my junk journals. I was using them to keep them closed, so I have banded all these together, but I have 6 different inserts. And back here is my brand new Hobonichi Techno 2026 Cousin. I'll tell you what I'm going to do with that shortly. But for this video, I want to focus on how I plan on doing some junk journaling with my inserts. So each of these inserts is just a plain brown surface. And what I'm going to do is junk journal the front and the back of it. So that's what I will be doing. Let me go ahead and take off my Post-it note and tell you a little bit about what I was thinking here. I'll put that off to the side. This insert has monthly views for calendars. It has a calendar monthly view. And what I'll do is just write in some important events that happen. Starts with January, nothing filled in there. I started with March. So I want to put something on here that represents the concept of time and the fact that I'm doing some tracking of what happens when. And I thought I would put down as a base layer this scrapbook paper. It's a 12 by 12 scrapbook paper that I'll wrap around the front and the back. All right, so I've now done that, and you can see that it's on both the front and the back. Doesn't that look so pretty? I will eventually do some junk journaling on the inside cover, but for today we're focusing on the outside. Next, I wanted to figure out what I wanted to apply on top of this that represents time. Well, one of the books that I thrifted was this book of antique clocks. So I picked this one out because I like the design of it. I thought it was different, and it's a clock. It represents time passing by. And this image here, there's a reason I chose it. I'll tell you that later. But I'm going to cut this out and apply it on top of here. I've now done that, and it fits almost perfectly. There were 2 arms on the other side of this clock that I cut off because I didn't feel like trying to cut in between the little arms and the sides of the clock. And I cut off the very top of the clock, and I did not, cut this white part out. I just left it, but I love how it looks. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? Now, what I want to do as a next step is add something that has the word calendar. One of the sticker books that I have is this Loads of Ephemera. I have 2 in this series of sticker books. I love them. I want to get some more. And as I was going through the pages, I saw this gears label that I could use. I could put on the front and then use stickers to put the word calendar in the middle. So let's get that on here. Ooh, we were in business now. I did decide to cut off some of the gears because it was taking up too much of this image when I laid it down. So I did trim it, put the sticker on here. We have the word calendar. Look how pretty. So what comes next? Well, I told you that I was going to junk journal the inside of this later, but I actually already had an idea and went and pulled something for it. I specifically wanted a piece of ephemera here that represents New York City. And so I go off to my categories of ephemera and remember that I had this book. Let me show you this book. This book that I thrifted recently called The Cabbie Who Stole New York City. This was in my transportation category, but I remembered that it was also New York City. I could have filed it in my travel. I could have filed it in transportation like I did, or I could have filed it in geography for New York, but I did put this in my transportation category. So in here, what I did was I found a page that I'm going to use for the inside cover. So we'll put that in. And look, I've done it. I also put some washi tape in to fix that seal a little bit more. This is way cool. So now I have this first insert junk journaled a little bit. And you know what? Because why not? I went ahead and glued another page from that book into the back. So now I've got the front cover, the inside cover, the back panel, and the back cover with some paper, book page ephemera on it. This is way cool. And back on top of the Hobonichi Cousin, this set of inserts go. Now, I will say the Hobonichi Cousin, which I will do another video on, I'm going to be using this like a perpetual calendar to document events and things that have happened throughout my life, my family's life, my ancestors' lives. And the way it's going to function is that I'll open it up to any particular day and be able to see a log of events across all different years. I'm excited to be able to show that to you later, but here is my first traveler's notebook set of insets. So I've put her back together, and I want to tell you the significance of the image and the significance of my one charm so far. So this is the Pisces symbol. I chose this because this is my father's sign. He just had a birthday, and since I decided to do this right around the time of his birthday, I decided to get a pendant with his sign, his astrological sign. And the image here you see is Manhattan circa 1850. My mother is from New York. That's also why I wanted the inside content to be New York. So I have New York represented. I have my father represented. So New York represents my mother. This represents my father, my parents. Without them, I wouldn't have a life to be tracking, right? So that's why I chose them as the significance for my Life OS Traveler's Notebook. Wait till I tell them that. They're going to get the biggest kick. But wait, there's more, y'all. I have also started to set up the basics of my junk journal operating system, Traveler's Notebook. So you'll see me talk about this more later about what I'm doing here. But say hello to my new Traveler's Notebook. I am so excited to be sharing more of my junk journaling in here with y'all over time. So definitely follow for more.